What's up everybody, my name's Spencer Smith and you're watching Top Speed Needs. In this series, we go over all the most important and relevant automotive news, all in 10 minutes or less. If you go on to enjoy this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. And with that being said, let's get into your Top Speed Needs. Coming in first, we're going to be talking about the new 2023 Toyota Prius and how this thing is so much better than its predecessor. Coming in looking a lot different than its predecessor, the new 2023 Toyota Prius is a lot sleeker, a lot more modern looking, and appears to be a lot more aerodynamic than its previous model. Along with that, it incorporates a bit of a wedge shape similar to like a circa 1990 Lamborghini Countach, which is also pretty cool considering this thing is a Prius, and has a very similar front fascia to the new Toyota Crown, which is a new electric sedan coming from Toyota in the near future. As you would expect from a redesign taking place in the 2020s, the Toyota Prius just got a little bit bigger, being an inch longer, having a rear end that's about 1 inch wider, and with the XLE and limited trims being able to be optioned out with 19-inch wheels. Although if you want the most efficient model when it comes to fuel economy, you are going to want to get the 17-inch wheels, which come on the LE trim, which for those of you who don't know, is the base model for the Prius. Along with that, this will be the first ever Prius with a panoramic roof, which by the way sits about 2 inches lower than the previous model, which is optional on the XLE trim and standard on the limited trim, and comes with a whole host of new features. On the top trim level, you have a heated steering wheel, heated and cooled front seats, optional heated rear seats, an optional 12.3-inch screen which you can get on the XLE, which by the way comes standard on the limited, an 8-inch screen on the LE trim, which by the way once again is the base model, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, an optional 8-speaker Bose sound system, and a built-in virtual assistant that can control your climate controls, your navigation, and even your audio controls, which by the way can be activated if you say, "Hey Toyota," which I'm hoping will work just a little bit better than Siri.
Sorry, I can't help you with that.
Now when it comes to the powertrain, this is going to be the most powerful and most efficient Prius ever, with the lithium-ion battery, which outputs about 15% more power than the current nickel metal battery, its new 2.0-liter inline 4-cylinder compared to the old 1.8, and a huge boost when it comes to power, going from 121 horsepower to 194. With a 0 to 60 of 7.2 seconds on the front-wheel drive model, and on the all-wheel drive model, which by the way has a whole 2 more horsepower, a 7-second 0 to 60 time. So overall, I'm honestly really surprised about how good this new Toyota Prius is. And although I was pretty excited initially when I first saw the teaser that they released not too long ago, I gotta say that it honestly did live up to the hype. And if you ask me, is a proper evolution of the Toyota Prius. Also, honestly, although it would be kind of funny and it would probably be taken as somewhat of a meme, I think it would be cool, especially with the new styling, to introduce somewhat of a Toyota Prius performance model. This would make the Prius appeal a little bit more to car enthusiasts and it would overall increase its sales. It would make it so you can zoom down the road with your 196 horsepower in absolute style. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. With that being said, let's get to your Top Speed Needs automotive tip of the day. If you're worried about your car's engine suffering from the winter temperatures, make sure to dump out all your coolant and fill it with ice water instead. When it gets cold, this water will be able to obviously solidify, making it so your engine has extra protection, essentially creating an extra shield within your engine bay. Along with that, it'll turn your 2014 Chevy Cruze officially into an armored vehicle, and will scare off the cold when it comes lurking into your engine bay. Don't believe me? Try it yourself at home, and you'll thank me later when your engine lasts 10 times longer. But with that being said, let's get back to your Top Speed Needs. If you, my good old lovely viewer, have ever thought about taking your $223,450 supercar off-road, Porsche has got you covered with the new 2023 Porsche 911 Dakar. This new Porsche, which is essentially a new version of the old Porsche 911 Safari, will be coming out in 2023 and will only have about 2,500 miles produced. This new Porsche will come standard with a 50mm lift, which for those of you who don't know is slightly less than 2 inches, and is outfitted with a lift kit, which allows this car to be raised 1.2 inches higher than what we've previously talked about. This allows its standard ride height to be about 6.3 inches, and at the highest setting of the lift mode, 7.5 inches. Which is about half an inch taller than 8th gen Honda Civic, meaning this thing's going to be riding a lot higher than the traditional 911, as you can see from this photo. I mean, let's be honest here, it's extremely noticeable. The new 911 Dakar will have the same powertrain, just slightly adjusted, as the Carrera 4 GTS, with a 3.0 twin-turbo flat 6-cylinder engine, an 8-speed automatic dual-clutch transmission, and a power output of 473 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. On top of that, this new Porsche will have a 0 to 60 time of about 3.2 seconds, and due to its tires which are more off-road friendly, a top speed of 150 miles an hour. Although in its maximum ride height, you can only go up to about 105 miles an hour before it drops down to its standard ride height. Meaning that you're going to be able to see this thing going down the road at you going 105 miles an hour. And I thought the Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato looked a little bit insane. Although maybe insane is just what you need. Now when it comes to drive modes, once again Porsche has got you covered with the new Rally mode and the new Off-Road mode, which by the way replaces Sport Plus, which you usually get with the 911, which maximizes the Porsche's ability to not only gain traction but also to crawl. And it comes with front and rear tow hooks, steel guard plates all around the car, an underplate made from carbon fiber reinforced polymer, and stainless steel on the grille, making it so if you go through mud, none of those rocks or anything else that might kind of spring up with the car will get into your engine bay, allowing you to push this thing even harder. Although I'm not exactly sure how much you're going to want to push your $223,000 car. When it comes to features, this thing's also going to have a carbon fiber hood, rear axle steering, the cooling system from the 911 Turbo and 911 Turbo S, and a locking center differential, ultimately creating a vehicle that seems to be a Jeep Wrangler competitor, which is not something I thought we'd ever see again from Porsche. Although I guess at this stage of the game, everyone wants a piece of that off-road market. Now we talked about the carbon fiber hood earlier, but on top of that, this thing has a few features that makes it pretty light. That being its full carbon fiber buckets, the non-existent rear seats, and extra lightweight glass, making this thing only weigh about 3,500 pounds, which for a Porsche 911 really isn't that bad at all. Now as I've said before in previous videos, which by the way you should go check out right about here, I'm extremely excited to see this thing at the 2023 Chicago Auto Show, and I can't wait to compare it to, if it's there, the new Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato. I mean, if they can have a Bugatti Chiron, I think they can have a Sterrato. Although after seeing this photo, I'm not sure if they're ever actually going to have another expensive car there. Taking a break from your top speed needs, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, which I hope you would be, make sure to do that right now, as the majority of you who watch this channel aren't actually subscribed, which of course would mean a lot to me and would be a very simple way of showing support for the channel. But with that being said, I hope you've liked the video thus far, and let's get back to your top speed needs. Finally, we're going to be talking about a new redesigned vehicle for the 2024 model year, which is now only introduced in a hatchback and has killed off its manual transmission option. That being the new 2024 Subaru Impreza, which personally I've been extremely excited about. Looking sleeker, sportier, and overall a lot better than the previous generation, the new redesigned Impreza comes in better than ever with a portfolio that honestly, anyone would be more than welcome to look at. For the 2024 model year, as we discussed previously, the Subaru Impreza will now only be available in a hatchback, along with only being available in either the base, the sport, or what we'll get to in a second, which is the RS trim, featuring more high-strength steel than before, which improves its torsional rigidity by about 10%. Now when it comes to the power of the base and sport model, the new Subaru Impreza is still going to be rocking 152 horsepower with 145 pound-feet of torque, coming out of its 2.0-liter Boxer 4-cylinder engine, which has a CVT, paddle shifters mounted on the steering wheel, and due to a wider gear ratio from the transmission, a faster acceleration time. Along with that, this new Impreza will have revised disc center coupling with standard torque vectoring, which will not lock as heavy as the outgoing model, and handles way better with faster response time when it comes to steering, more agile handling, and overall better cornering. Now we've talked about performance, which is obviously something we all care about, but one thing we might care about even more is the return, which by the way hasn't been here since '98, of the new RS trim level. The new Impreza RS, which by the way I think looks really good, will have a 2.5-liter Boxer engine, similar to the previous model, of the RS that is, from '98, with 182 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque, which I just know is going to make this thing insanely fun to drive. Which is backed up by the fact that this thing's torque is going to come about 700 RPM sooner than the previous RS model. If at this point you can't tell that I'm a Subaru fanboy, I guess you'd be mistaken. But one thing this thing doesn't do is compromise the interior and the safety features for the performance. Having a Starlink Multimedia Plus system, an 11.6-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a safety and security package being offered, containing such features as SOS emergency assistance, a stolen vehicle recovery service, health diagnostics, blind spot detection, and more. Now this new Impreza will be available at the last quarter of 2024 and is expected to cost around $25,000 to $30,000. So although we don't know the price quite yet, honestly this thing is going to be worth whatever they charge, or at least that's what I would pay for it. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this episode of Top Speed Needs. If you like this video, make sure to not only hit the subscribe button, but turn on post notifications and like the video. And with that being said, tune in next time for your Top Speed Needs.